Hello and welcome to the Superhero Show. I'm Chris, and this is not Daniel Krupa, this is Rich.
Hello.
Rich, what are you doing here?
Well, Krupa's gone to Vegas, so I thought I'd steal his seat. I'm normally in that direction filming the show.
Yeah, so if it looks rubbish, it's his fault. Let's kick off as usual with the news. And first up, we normally talk about Marvel and DC. That seems to be our topic of discussion every week.
Yeah.
So we're going to kick off with something that's nothing to do with either of them. It's Flash Gordon.
What's happening with Flash Gordon?
Fox have picked up the movie rights, and it looks like we might be getting a Flash Gordon movie in the not too distant future. The guys that are writing Star Trek 3 have been charged with the task of writing a new Flash Gordon movie. Now, I'm a bit older than you.
Yeah.
I grew up on the 1980 movie. Have you seen it?
No.
Okay. You need to make that happen.
Do I need to see it?
It's a camp classic.
Okay.
It is bizarre, strange. It's really good fun. It doesn't really make any sense, but for me, it's like a pure comic book movie. It's bright, it's garish. It's like watching a comic book brought to life, if a really camp one. It's directed by Michael Hodges, who was this very serious British filmmaker. And I interviewed him once, and he's still not sure to this day how he ended up making that movie.
Okay.
It's got a guy called Sam Jones playing Flash Gordon, who didn't really have much of a career since, kind of a B-movie actor. And it's pretty famous for Brian Blessed being in it and saying, do you know what he says?
No, I don't know. What
Gordon's alive.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Okay.
Gordon's alive?
I do know that.
So check that out. But I imagine if we're going to get a new version, it will be less camp and more exciting and futuristic. And
But I guess the last time we saw Flash was probably in Ted, wasn't it?
it was Sam Jones was in Ted playing himself.
Exactly. He made a bit of a cameo.
Yeah. And there was a TV series a few years ago, which I caught 5 minutes of and was awful. So hopefully they can do one better than that.
Okay. Does it need a remake though?
Well, hopefully it's not going to be a remake. There's no point in remaking that movie. It's perfect as far as I'm concerned. But it's a great comic strip, and I think it deserves to have a kind of modern, futuristic, up-to-date version. So
Okay,
let's make this happen. And the other bit of news, just a brief thing, Avengers, they've announced a release date. It's coming out in the UK, Avengers Age of Ultron, a week before the States. So it's going to make all my American compatriots
Very interesting.
annoyed again.
And this is happening a lot, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
We're getting a lot of release dates before the States these days. Why do you think?
Europe does. I have no idea, but I think it's just because America was the most important market. It isn't anymore financially, and so they're doing more kind of day and date releases, but equally we seem to be getting stuff a week or two early.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining, but I know it's making all my buddies in the States annoyed.
Well, I remember when I was a kid, I used to be very, very jealous that the States would get all these things before us.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see that. Sorry if you're watching from the States, but it's nice for us that we get these things before them.
Promise not to spoil it though when we see it a week early.
Yeah.
Now, our talking point this week is going to revolve around TV, because I'm writing a feature at the moment about the comic books that are coming to television in the not too distant future, and there's a hell of a lot. So is the future of superheroes on the television? What are your thoughts on this, Rich?
You know what? I really don't think it is. I would love to see it. I think that there's probably a market for superheroes on TV, but I don't think it's been done well yet. Obviously, we've got S.H.I.E.L.D. I was so excited about S.H.I.E.L.D. because I wanted something to tie in all the films, and I just don't think it really did it justice. I would love to see it happen. I mean, I'm excited for The Flash. I think that that's got potential, and Daredevil.
Do you not think Arrow's nailing it at the moment?
Well, it's interesting you should say that.
Yeah,
because we've had a piece of feedback.
Okay,
and this is from Jason Howling, and he says, "I think Arrow is everything S.H.I.E.L.D. should be, as it really brings DC comic books to life and gives the heroes and villains that more human feel." He asks us, "Do you think this is the way that S.H.I.E.L.D. should be approaching the way it's producing its TV shows?" And maybe let us explore the bigger characters rather than just seeing them for 5 seconds on screen.
Well, I'm a bit behind on Arrow, so I've been enjoying it, but apparently it gets much better further on from where I'm at. But so far, I'm really enjoying it. But I don't know. As far as I know, S.H.I.E.L.D. has got better as soon as the big characters have come in, or as soon as they've kind of linked up with the Marvel Universe. It's taken a while to hit its stride. Arrow seems to be doing a good job. And The Flash is spinning off from it. So they're doing something right.
Yeah.
Well, how about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you know, so am I right in saying the Flash was introduced in Arrow?
Yeah, I mean, the plan was to do a backdoor pilot, they called it, where he was introduced in a couple of episodes, then he was going to be in some more episodes, and then they developed that into a spin-off. Whereas what they decided to do is after his 2 episodes, that the character was working, they saw it had potential. So rather than keep putting him in that show and just do it on the side, they're going to do a full-on pilot. They've not announced the full series, but it looks like it's going to happen, really.
Okay. I mean, I guess it's all about the money, really, isn't it? You get these characters which they don't think are gonna do so well on the big screen, I guess. So they maybe make a TV series for them, and then if they do get big, then I'd imagine that they would eventually get their own kind of full feature film. Yeah,
and it's happening in the other direction as well, because Agent Carter is being developed by Marvel, which is Peggy Carter is obviously in the 2 Captain America movies, played by Hayley Atwell. She looks like she's going to get her own TV show, a period piece set in just after World War II. So that's interesting, it coming in the other direction. But certainly, I mean, one of the big ones is what Netflix are doing. They're actually developing 4 superhero shows. It's Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist and Luke Cage. They're going to be 4 different series of about 12, 13 episodes leading up to The Defenders, where all 4 will combine in a series. So it's going to be a bit like what they've done in cinemas with the Avengers.
Yeah.
But Daredevil's going to be the first show, and I wouldn't be surprised if that works, then down the line we'll see a Daredevil movie.
Yeah.
Although I think it's unlikely that Ben Affleck will play the role.
No. Well, as well as being Batman. That's probably...
Yeah, and it didn't really work out first time around.
No.
The other one that's in development at the moment it's shooting, is Gotham. Have you heard much about Gotham? Origin story, but not of Batman as such. It's of Commissioner Gordon.
Interesting.
So it's set when Batman's a kid, and he's going to be in the show. I think it's pretty much going to kick off with Jim Gordon being a rookie detective, and the first case he investigates is the death of Bruce's parents.
Okay.
And so, as with the comics, he befriends Bruce and kind of is like a father figure to him. But it's really going to be Commissioner Gordon's journey up the ranks in the police department, and we're going to meet all the villains, but before they become villains. So we'll meet Catwoman when she's Selena Kyle, and they've said they're going to bring them all in, because at first we weren't sure who was going to show up, but they've said Catwoman, Joker, Riddler, Two-Face, Penguin are all going to be in this show, but kind of before they turn evil. So that's quite interesting.
Yeah, you know, I'm a big fan of origin stories.
Yeah.
So I'd love to see that. I think it'd be really interesting to see those characters before they actually become those characters.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, a guy called Ben McKenzie's playing Jim Gordon, who was in the OC and in a TV show called Southland, and I think we might see that before the end of the year, so I'm quite excited for that one.
I guess, you know, you've got the pro of superheroes on TV being that you can work on these characters and you can really develop these characters, whereas, you know, in the films, like, there's been a lot of criticism over films just laying on all these villains, like laying on all these characters and just going through them so fast that you never really get to see them, you never get to see them develop. So I guess in that respect, superheroes on TV should work, but will it?
I think it can do. I think Arrow's working pretty well, and giving these guys space and time. I mean, you might not have the budget to do what the movies can do, but to be honest, I was watching Man of Steel again the other day, and I really enjoyed the stuff on Krypton first time around. Second time around, I enjoyed it, but I found the effects really got in the way. Like, there's real drama happening, and it was so over the top. Everywhere you look, there was stuff going on, and let's bring the drama closer, and, you know, I imagine, like, one of these shows having someone like Vince Gilligan who oversaw Breaking Bad. Imagine someone with a vision like that and an ear for drama, taking on one of these characters, and you know, Breaking Bad was about a good man turning evil. Like, let's see this done with a superhero. I think the potential's there.
Sounds good.
Yeah, we'll see. Good to know your thoughts, though. Send in your feedback, whether you think superheroes can work on TV, to the usual email address, which I can never remember, but you're going to flash it up on the screen now, aren't you?
Yes, and it's IGN_UK_feedback@IGN.com.
Cool. So any more feedback, Rich?
Yes, we have one more piece of feedback before we go today. It's from Tamid Zaki. Sorry if I didn't pronounce that correctly. He says, I think the Sinister Six movie needs to have a clearly defined idea of who the protagonists of the film are. Is the film going to be from the point of view of the Sinister Six, with Spider-Man taking on the antagonist role? Or is this just going to be Spider-Man fighting the Sinister Six? I think if they go for the former idea, it might be really cool, as it would have a film where the villains are front and centre, and they could do some really interesting things if they're willing to take risks.
Well, here's hoping the guy that's writing the movie knows which direction it's coming from.
I would hope so, yeah.
Yeah, for me, this film's going to be interesting if it is from that point of view. We've had scores of movies that are from the superheroes' point of view. Let's have one from the villains and see their perspective.
Yeah, definitely. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see a darker route. Why not sometimes, see the villains win? Why not? Because it'll be a really interesting thing to see, I think. We've got Drew Goddard directing, who did Cabin in the Woods, which I think can be described as sinister. So
yeah. He'll be able to capture the darkness, hopefully. And interestingly, tying things up, he's also overseeing the Daredevil TV show.
Oh, there you go. So
yeah, it all comes together. Thanks to Drew Goddard.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, so that's it from us this week. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned to IGN for all your superhero needs.